Do you find that there's quite a bit of difference in the performance and productivity across your team members? Do you wish you could visualize how all your team members stack up? Do you wish you could find a more effective way to assign work to your team? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you will find this video very helpful. Welcome back to Agile Growth with Shri, where you'll find helpful tips on being more effective and productive as a business leader. This is the third of a 6-part video series on leadership agility. In our last video, we spent time talking about root cause analysis and discussing the skill, will, hill framework, which can be very helpful when you're dealing with performance issues of your team members. In this video, I will introduce the Readiness Matrix, which will be important to build leadership agility as well as to apply the situational leadership model. I'll also give you some examples on how this can be applied in real life. We will then take a look at the output of such an exercise. The Readiness Matrix is a simple 2x2 matrix. As you see in the image, on the horizontal axis, you have skill, and on the vertical axis, you have will. You can have two options for skill and will, namely low and high. This will give you 4 quadrants, and you can call them R1, R2, R3, and R4. Now, skill refers to abilities, competencies, capabilities, and in general, the knowledge and the ability to deliver on the person's role. Will refers to the enthusiasm, the interest, the motivation, the commitment, and engagement for the person's role. You will do a quick assessment to see where your team falls on these 2 dimensions and plot them somewhere on the matrix. Consequently, someone who is very skilled and highly motivated would fall on the top right section of the matrix, whereas someone with low skill and who seems to be disengaged would fall on the bottom left side of the matrix. Now, some people might fall somewhere in the middle. You get the point. This simple exercise can enable you to visualize what you think of your team members based on your experience with them. It's a good starting point. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate, but it just reflects your current perspective. Now, if you're the CEO, you could apply this to all your direct reports and plot your head of sales, head of marketing, head of HR, head of finance, etc. on this matrix. On the other hand, if you're the head of sales and you have a team of 7 salespeople, you could plot all of them on this matrix and see how they're distributed. You might find that there are some people in some roles who seem to lack the skill and the will, and they are in the R1 readiness level. This could be someone who is new to a role and may not have the right experience and perhaps lacks the confidence and hence is not motivated, or they could simply be a bad fit. You'll find some people who have high skill but low will, and they're in the R2 readiness level. In this case, they have the skill and they know how to do the job, but for some reason their will is low. They seem to lack motivation, don't seem very interested or very engaged. This can happen with people who have been doing a role for a long time but have gotten bored, jaded, for some reason disinterested. You might find some people who have low skill but high will, and they're in the R3 readiness level. In this case, they may not know everything required to do the job, but they're eager, they're engaged, energized, and want to give it their best. This can happen when you hire someone new out of college or of an MBA program, or you moved someone new into a role, or someone has been promoted. They're raring to go, but they may not be highly skilled, at least not yet. And then we'll have some people who have high skill and high will, and they're in the R4 readiness level. In this case, they know how to do the job and they're fully engaged, and it's great to have a lot of people in this level. As you can see, this simple but powerful exercise can be very revealing and help you understand your team's performance. Now that you know how to do this, take a sheet of paper, draw the 2x2 matrix, and go ahead and plot your team on the Readiness Matrix. I hope you've been able to plot your entire team on the Readiness Matrix. I wish you the very best in performing a readiness assessment of your team. Now that you've completed the readiness assessment, check out my next video where I'll explain how you can choose the optimal leadership style based on where each team member falls in the Readiness Matrix. Thanks for watching. Please share your questions and feedback in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to Agile Growth with Shri.